Find in this week's parsha, Vayirai Lav Hashem Belonei Mamrei V'hu Yoshev Petach Ha'ol K'chol Hayom. Avram Avinu is sick, 3 days into his bris milah, and he has a tremendous, great visitor. The Ribono Shel Olam comes levaker Tacholeh. From here, the Gemara learns in Sota, Daf Yudalid, the concept where the pasuk says in Dvarim Acharei Hashem Elokechem Telechu. We have to follow God. Ask the Gemara, can man follow the divine presence? Halo K'tiv, doesn't it say that God is an all-consuming fire? Answers the Gemara that we have to go after the midot of Hashem. Mahu, just like God is Malbish HaRumim, he clothes the naked, so too we have to. Just like God is Mevaker Choleh, like our parsha, so too we have to, etc., etc. Rav Soloveitchik added one other attribute. Not only Bikur Cholim and Nichum Avelim. We read a couple of weeks ago, Brishit Bara Elokim, Et HaShamayim Vet HaAretz. God is a creator. Rav Soloveitchik explained, Mahu Bara, so too you have to be a creator. We have to be a creator in our lives and recreate ourselves. We have to be a creator in our lives within the Chidushei Torah that we have. Definitely we have to be Mekabel, but the last mitzvah in the Torah, Mitzvah Taryag, explain the rush of Va'ata Kitvu Lachem et Hashira Azot, even though originally it was the mitzvah of writing the Sefer Torah. You have a mitzvah nowadays, Laharbot Torah, to write your own Chidushim. This concept of being creative was instilled into us how God created man. If we go to the Breshit story, you see that God created man alone. But then he immediately says, Lo tov heyot adam levado. It's not good for man to be alone. Whatever the reason is, theologically, psychologically, practically, machlokas mifarshim. The bottom line is, Lo tov heyot adam levado, therefore, e'eselo ezer kenegdo. The question of Soloveitchik asked in many, many articles, including the article called The Community in 1978 is, so then why did God create man alone if it's Lo tov? Answers the Ribono Shel Olam, because man for sure needs to be part of a community. But social man at many times is just a puppet, just imitates. When you're alone, not only do you think and ponder, but you're creative, you're dynamic. Man needed to have that short time to know the importance that we instilled within our psyche, within our essence, our ethos, is that we have to be creative. So that's one level. One level of being creative is the same idea that we find in this week's parsha of imitating God. However, there's another level which I think the whole Sefer Breshit comes about, which is that the Torah started with the whole Sefer Breshit, and Rav Yitzchak in the first Rashi says we should start from the first mitzvah, HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem. Why do we start with this, with the whole creation story and all of Sefer Breshit? And he answers, Koach Ma'asav Higida Amo, to tell us if the Listim will tell us Eretz Yisrael is not ours, very relevant for nowadays. We have to continue telling ourselves Eretz Yisrael is ours. But the question is, how do you understand that Rashi? Is there a first thought and then it's totally wrong? Torah's only mitzvot. And the answer is, no. It's something more than that. You were totally wrong. Or, no. The thought was right. We should start with mitzvot. Torah, milashon moreh. It teaches us the way of life. It's the Seder HaChaim. It teaches us the normal order. So what would have been missing? The answer is what we started with the Avram Avinu last week, which is the idea of the Avos. The Ramban has a statement, Maaseh Avot, Siman Lebanim. So the truth is the Ramban doesn't say that language. He says Maaseh Avot. If you look at the Hakdama of Sefer Shmot, I'll read it to you. He says what the Avos did for us is a Yitzirah. They created for us. Uvimikrei ha'avot shehein ke'en Yitzirah v'zara midnei shekol mikrayim tziyurei dvarim. What the Avos did for us is not just nice story and history, but they created within us a certain reality. For example, it says that we know we're in the middle of the 10th test. This week's parsha, we get to either the 10th or the 9th test compared. Depends on how the Mefarshim. The concept of Mesirut Nefesh, the Mesirut Nefesh that happened, that Avram Avinu had to be able to come to Eretz Yisrael. And the concept that nowadays people have Mesirut Nefesh, despite the difficulty, as much as great as Nefesh B'Nefesh is, Still difficult for people. It comes from Avram Avinu. Kol nisyanot nitnaseh Avram Avinu. He became our Av. That what did he do? He created that reality for us. And our job is not only to imitate God. We needed Sefer Breshit to learn from our Avot. The reason we do it is not for our Avot. That's Halacha Moshe Sinai. Hashem tells us, when he told us at Sinai, we have to go be Mevaker Choleh. But the mitzvot are needed. If you didn't have Sefer Breshit, there would be something lacking. Our Avot, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and our Imahot, they teach us, they created realities for us to study Sefer Breshit and to be able to understand, to be creative and dynamic Jews, creative and dynamic people. And therefore that's true in an ethical sense, it's true in a religious sense, it's true in a filial sense. So Be'ezrat Hashem, as we enter Shabbat and we read this first pasuk and we read the last parsha of the Akedat Yitzchak, remember this very important tenet that we have within us to be creative, both within Torah, within our families, learning from our Avot. And Be'ezrat Hashem will learn how to create. And also I'll tell you Yitzchak, there's one last idea. Yitzchak is known as a joke, laughter. What? Avram gets a new name change. Yaakov gets a name change. Why does Yitzchak's name not change? The answer is because people looked at Yitzchak. And if you look at Rav Shimshon Raphael Hirsch, he explains because people looked at him and laughed at him. There was such a gap between the thought of him continuing Avram Avinu and creating Avram Avinu as Avram Ivri. He went against the fad. And he said, I'm going to be monotheistic, I'm going to teach everybody. Now Yitzchak, Avram Avinu is this, he's a Ben Skunim, Avram Avinu is an old guy. Yitzchak, what, is he going to be able to do this? Yitzchak, he laughs at that challenge. He recreates that reality. And we have to do that, Be'ezrat Hashem, as the first Siman in Shulchan Aruch says, to be able to be strong, to be religiously confident within who we are. That comes with being creative and continuously recreating ourselves. Shabbat Shalom u'mevorach.